Objection! Herzlich willkommen zurück zu Ace Attorney Investigations, der hoffentlich, eventuell finalen Folge des dritten Cases. Mit dabei ist wie immer Cedric.
Bonjour.
Bonjour und wir
Je ne
fangen
parle pas français, aber bitte sprich weiter.
Und jetzt haben wir schon das Copyright Infringement eingebaut an den Anfang der Folge, das ist natürlich praktisch. Wir waren letztes Mal dabei, den guten Lance Emanuel zu verhören, der anscheinend im Moment das Mastermind des ganzen Kidnappings zu sein scheint. Hören wir doch mal rein. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had shut me in that room, blindfolded, the entire time. But the kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. Interessant.
Der hat ganz schöne Ohrläppchen, du.
Through the underground passageway, I presume? Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. Ah, how can you not? Why do you look at me with such icy daggers in your eyes? Because he's a prosecutor, and because we're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth, and should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. Sehr schön.
Ja, der ist ein bisschen drücken.
Oh, wir haben nicht sehr viel Leben, sehe ich gerade. Und ich sehe auch, ich habe absolut keine Ahnung mehr, was unsere Beweise waren. Okay, Die Gun, Prop Sword, der Love Letter,
Das Zeug,
ah, ja,
das
genau.
Zeug.
Blue Badger,
ja, das Zeug.
Das Zeug, yep,
das
alles
Zeug.
klar, ja, alles klar. Dann haben wir das ja geklärt. So, fangen wir mal an. Shut that room, blindfold the entire time.
Aber war er blindfolded?
The kid had suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. Es hat ja geregnet, das haben wir gesagt.
Wie konnte er das hören, wenn er geblindfoldet war?
Da hast du absolut recht. Objection! Okay, wir fangen mal mit dem Regen an, weil das ist die Zeit, das Zeitliche, was wir hier haben. Hold it. The kidnapper has disappeared. The room fell into a sudden silence. I had been left behind like an unwanted mud. And what do you mean by unwanted mud?
What a pointless question. It's not like he's going to tell you anything new, you know?
It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them too. You may not look refined on the outside. Oh wow. Yeah, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. Ein wahrer Poet. Ein wahrer Poet.
Einfach richtig Anime-Style.
Hold it! Then those cuffs on your wrists, I suppose you're still cuffed in that case.
Haha.
I'm well aware of how I'm chained to reality.
Alter.
I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid that I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from that jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner. Okay, so klingt er euch besser. Er ist wirklich sehr poetisch.
Okay. Ja, was mich irritiert, ist, dass immer, also ich habe das scherzhaft gesagt am Anfang, aber das mit dem Blindfolded und mit der Escape, da hat er jetzt noch nicht gesagt, dass er jetzt entblindfolded wurde.
Na, er kommt ja offensichtlich mit seinen Händen an sein Gesicht ran. Wie wir hier sehen, wie er das Spät durch seine Finger durch.
True.
Hold it! How did you manage to escape? Das ist eine gute Frage. I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined. Okay, das hat es jetzt hinzugefügt, anscheinend. The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway. Aber er war noch innen drin. Also war doch nicht von außen gelockt, sondern von innen mit dem Schwert, oder nicht?
Jein.
Also wenn ich mich recht entsinne, dann war doch...
Pressen wir doch mal kurz.
Der Grund, warum wir das hatten, ich wollte kurz erwähnen, dass hier, das mit diesem Prop Sword, der Dormhände gejammt.
To the hideout door.
Also ich press erstmal.
Ja, können wir uns vormerken.
By underground passageway, you mean the one the staff used to travel unnoticed?
Da kommt keine Information
I
mehr.
suppose that's what it's for, but I didn't run into any staff members on my way out. And once I was up top, I was busy trying to find a member of the police. And that is when you found us, congregated at the stadium, I suppose. Let me ask you then, how did you get a hold of a key to the underground door? That was easy. It was hanging right there in the room on the wall. I do recall a key hanging on the wall right beside the table.
Boy, does that bring back Hilfe. Does that bring back memories of our situation, how we made our escape?
Indeed, it feels like it has been, what, 3 months ago? And all over the door and the floor of our room led to an underground room. The door on the floor.
Disclaimer, es sind keine 3 Monate her.
Had a secret passageway. Seitdem wir den Case angefangen haben, ist schon ein bisschen her.
A secret passageway under a theme park. Oh, that just sounds like so much fun.
I wonder, is there something off about the way Lance made his escape? Okay, ja, jetzt fangen wir von vorne an. Wir können nochmal alles pressen, aber ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, dass dieses mit der Shutdoor sein wird. Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail? It was a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of a great calm. And where were you when you experienced this calm? Our family garden, of course. Where else could it have been? Well, excuse me for asking. This child is more princess than prince. I was out.
Das ist nur schon.
Ja, ja. Das ist 2017 das Spiel. I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning. Blah. Then out of the blue, someone from behind clamped a hand over my mouth. You didn't see your attacker? They must have used some drug to knock me out, because before I knew it, it was off in La La Land again. Oh no, I was at the outcast. When I woke up, I was all in the kidnapper's hideout already, all tied up. Okay, dann reden wir blindfold.
Okay.
Warum nicht? By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yes, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape. Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers. They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. It was definitely 2 people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared. I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare to make a move. Okay. Dann würde ich jetzt einfach...
Ab geht's, das Prop-Sword, ja, ab geht's. Ja, komm. Noch eins weiter?
Ja.
Ja.
Prop-Sword.
Prop-Seed.
Objection! Nice. Off to a great start. You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? Kurz eine Handschellen verloren. We're talking about the room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena?
Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this. What is that? A sword. It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used in my ass. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use this sword in your ass. If that's the case, then why did you just not simply remove the swords and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not in fact possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. Not so fast! You've been making this guy out to be the one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something really important along the way. And what would that be? A motive, what else? Do you honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme, such as kidnapping himself? Objection! Natürlich haben wir den Love Letter noch. This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. Take that!
Ich habe übrigens immer noch nicht den 3. Case beendet, heißt, das wäre für mich immer noch ein Spoiler.
Ja, ich weiß, du musst echt mal Ace Attorney über das Spiel.
Ja.
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance?
Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man too. Yeah, Kay. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh?
Alright, I give up. I abducted myself. Lance! Das war erstaunlich easy. It's over, lolly. Sie ist Lauren, ne? Jetzt macht der Lolly an ihrer Hand aussehen. Wahrscheinlich hat er deswegen was assoziiert damit. Okay. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that $1 million. But now, that dream is over. Oh, Lance! Then you are giving yourself up? Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my lolly. Oliver even helped us with a plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back. He turned on you? Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the Blue Badger costume. That would mean that the person Officer Meekins saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a bad Badger costume, took the suitcase with $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought it could only end badly. I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Lolly, then it really was you?
Well, that's just sad.
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumbled to the ground and I ran, scared for my life. I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was.
If what she says is true.
Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve?
You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
Oh Gott sei Dank, ich glaube, wenn du so hoch redest, dann wirst du von Ethics Voice abgestellt.
Okay, aber sonst würde ein Flugzeug hören, das möchte ich auch nicht.
Okay. What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see.
Okay.
Whatever. Ich habe keine Ahnung.
Okay, Boomer.
Also ich habe das Gefühl, es hat jetzt was mit dieser rechten Hand vom Bad Badger zu tun, wenn ich es richtig...
Habe ich auch das Gefühl.
Alles klar, okay, dann schauen wir nochmal hier. Also, at the stadium, there was a bad badger putting the suitcase with the $1 million in it. That badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. Ich glaube, wenn das nämlich die Gun ist, die er vom Badger abgerissen hat, dann ist das eine Model Gun und dann kann die keinen tödlichen Schuss abgefeuert haben. Das ist ein sehr gutes Argument, Cedric. Daran habe ich nicht gedacht und wir probieren es einfach direkt aus.
Nein!
Wir probieren es doch nicht aus.
Ich wollte, dass du es erst presst.
Nein, I refuse to allow this. Das ist viel mehr interessant. Hold it! You shot Mr. Deacon?
Miss Pops.
Yes, I shot him. And that, as they say, is that. Agent Lang, Miss Pops is far from done. She hasn't even finished her testimony yet. You're going to continue questioning her? What a waste of time. Miss Pops, if you please. Alright. Okay, so viel dazu.
Mann.
There was a gunshot? Naja, das kann ja sein. Das ist ja immer noch die kann ja Blanks feiern. Also, hold it! Did you take off immediately following the gunshot? Yes. And you didn't attempt to approach the victim at all after he was shot? I was scared.
I don't blame you. I would have done the exact same thing. Poor Miss Pops. What will become of her, Mr. Edgeworth?
She seems to be telling the truth regarding what happened at the stadium. However, I don't believe it to be absolutely correct. Listen very carefully to her confession once more. Okay. Ich press nochmal einfach alles, weil honestly, what the fuck? Please calm down and let's slowly talk through this. But I... All you have to do is simply tell us what happened at the stadium. Leave it to us to search out the truth. Can you do that for me? Oh, alright, so at the stadium.
Blush.
Blush. That was the ransom money, wasn't it? Yes, that's how I was able to identify Mr. Deacon almost immediately. It was all thanks to what Lance told me. And what did she tell you? Well, he called me on my cell phone and told me that Mr. Deacon had betrayed us and had run off with the ransom money. And about how he had a gun. Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes.
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't know.
I don't want to believe it myself.
But it's true, my father's left arm was where...
Aha!
With a gun in it, pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought. Miss Pops! Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time? Yeah, yes, of course. Okay, so viel dazu. In his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead. Aber das kann's nicht gewesen sein. Machen wir das jetzt hier oder machen wir das mit dem, dass er Rechtshänder war?
Ich glaube auch, dass er Rechtshänder ist. Wo war das nochmal da?
Das ist hier drin, glaube ich, ja.
Check nochmal lieber. Ja. Wir haben nicht mehr viel Leben, du.
Er steht da direkt. Dominant Hand Rights.
Ja.
Okay.
Ab geht's.
Objection! Hahaha! Köstlich, amüsant. I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed. Ah, then... The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Not so fast! Hold on, Mr. Prosecutor. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to anything Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it.
Oh.
Enough with his smugness. Out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier. There was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with one document. According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Ich muss mir gerade vorstellen, dieser Flashback war auch Edgeworth, der einfach seine Stimme verstellt hat.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face, which look really cool. But if that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong.
Ja, beide Hände waren nicht, ne? Frei. Andersrum. Die waren nicht frei. Da war ja beim einen bei Gun, oder?
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, weil wir haben immer noch diesen Bad Badger Head, den wir noch nicht benutzt haben.
Boah. Ja, kannst machen.
It wasn't the Bad Badger? Nein.
Ja.
Ja? Nein? Vielleicht?
Doch.
Ja, yep.
Yeah, it sums up the
Okay.
bad badger pretty well. I'd
Ja,
say.
ja, okay.
Asozial.
Ja, sozial. Okay, wir haben noch genug Leben, alles easy, alles easy.
Spulen wir vor bis so 5 Minuten später. Fuck uns unser Leben!
Auf einmal geht einfach das nächste Statement, auf jeden Fall kommt ein 4., 5., 6. hinterher, so oh Gott, oh
Wo ist
shit.
unser Leben? Wo ist unser... Ich hab kein Leben mehr, Scam.
Also du würdest jetzt sagen, both hands were not
Ja.
occupied, okay.
Both are correct, würde ich ausschließen.
Oh, das habe ich eigentlich nicht verstanden, was es meint. Das,
Ja.
okay.
Das hätte ich jetzt auch nicht gedacht.
Das habe ich jetzt nicht so gelesen. Egal, wir haben noch genug Leben. Obviously, both are correct. They are both correct. Trivially.
Von Anfang an wusste
Impossible. That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that bad badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? Hilarious. Aber das ist literally genau das, was ich meinte, dass er einfach nur den Kopf auf hatte. Oh mein Gott. Der Kopf, oder? Oder das mit der abgerissenen Hand? Aber das mit dem abgerissenen Ding haben wir gar nicht, ne? Das haben wir nur...
Nee, das ist nicht... Das
Doch
ist
da,
nicht,
was ripped.
Ja, aber es sieht ein bisschen moddig an und nicht direkt der Badger-Dings halt.
Honestly, wenn das jetzt nicht ist,
Ja,
dann muss die Model ganz
komm.
sein, also... Take what? Das
Nur
ist
noch
genau
genug
das, was ich
Leben.
gerade eben gemeint habe, aber okay. The costumes have two parts to them, a head and the body.
Oh, I get it now. Das ist das, was du eben meintest.
Richtig, aber eben war es falsch. The head Miss Pop saw was probably really the head of a bad badger. However, is it not possible... Das war richtig. That the body was that of an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yes. Or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger.
Proto-Badger.
ja, der Proto-Badger.
Proto-Badger.
Take that! What? The heck is it?
It's a Proto-Badger.
Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of
die
elimination.
Ausrechnung jetzt.
Warum hat sie da eine Line gehabt? Ja. Miss Pops was wearing the blue badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the proto-badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the proto-badger costume? That would be Lance. Not so fast! Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance the man who donned the bad badger's hat and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which, he plotted to shoot Miss Pops while he was wearing that hideous thing?
Ja.
The stage was set up in the stadium was nothing more a setup. Also, than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have to do all that, huh? There's but one reason. Lance Amano, you are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon. What? No. That's slander. Take it back. You take it back right now. Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand?
Beide.
I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything? It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker had a gun in his left hand. Not so fast! Ha!
Ich weiß ja.
Ja?
Er panickt einfach so richtig und dann so, meine Füße sind stärker.
Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the Proto-Badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right? Aber es war die Prop Gun. Objection! Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet, by giving Miss Pops the missing model gun. Take that! We found one half of a bad badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing. Plus, it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. Wie bitte?
Das Model sieht schon fast traurig aus. Es sieht einfach aus wie ein Teletubby, der einfach gestorben ist.
Das ist der wahre Mord. What? Miss Pops, where's the gun you used now? I threw it away into the sea. That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. Not so fast! I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right, and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Ha! I knew you were full of it! Of shit, that is. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Hold it! Please wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because... I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in the state of being restrained? Oh mein Gott, es kommt so viel ans Licht, Cedric!
Und da stoppen wir!
Und hier stoppen wir! Oh mein Gott, die Spannung ist,
könnte
nicht höher sein.
Dieses Let's Play ist hiermit zu Ende.
Oh Gott, nein, aber die ganze Folge. Okay, nächstes Mal geht's dann hoffentlich zum Ende. Ciao, bis zum nächsten Mal.
Tschüss.